get into another charting part lesson, charting here with the large caps. We did small caps already. This will be more mid cap to large caps, how to chart them, what to use, and I'll go over like a mid cappy play, and I'll go over a large cap play. How to find levels, what you're wanting to look for, what time frames to use. Again, little two-part lesson coming up. Be about 45 minutes long for the two lessons combined. So what I'm going to start off with is give a morning alert that I gave this morning. So this will also show you how I'm getting those levels and what to be looking for, how to use these levels on the morning alerts. But let's just show you how the levels I gave this morning, let's listen to them.
Now, over that mark, watch for a pop-up for your ultimate high of day at 6,878. Watch for top flat resistance at right around 678. Over 678, watch for move up to 679.50. No. 678.75 rule, then 679.50. Then over that, we go up to 680.60. Normal high of day at 680.60. Into around 6.8.
And that comes into play right here. No, that's the 79.50. All right, so there's 79.50. I got the 875 rule. So what I probably did was zoomed into here. And there's where I'm getting it from, right there. Right here. That's where I'm getting it from, right here.
80. 680.60 is the high from Wednesday, the 5th of this month. The low on the 12th of this month is right at that area. Now, over that mark, watch for a pop-up for your ultimate high of day to 682. And I'm going to go there for your ultimate high of day. Now, if we get over 682, we're going into 682.50. Well, we'll call that your normal high of day, or ultimate high of day. 682 to 682.50. Let's go back down here. On the way down, bounce at pre-market, right around 675.80. Under that, we go down to around 674. We'll go 675.75 to 675.50. Watch for a bounce. That's also coming off of last Thursday's high of day. If we crack through that, watch for a move down to 674.85. Then we're going down to 674.35. Little small incremental levels right through there, really. It's there that we get a good crack finally down to 673. 673 normal low of day, ultimate low of day, then goes to 672.50 at first, and then below that to 671. 671, the old trend line up. Watch for a bounce there today if we do get down low.
We never went down low. We went up. And so that's where I'm giving you levels, and that's what I'm looking for. So essentially, when I come into pre-market and I'm trying to chart levels, I essentially am zooming out from here onward and what levels do I need to use. So on the downside, I only need to chart here. And I use the 15-day, 15-minute time frame. Why? There's going to be a lot of people still that just got over to large caps from small caps or whatever and still trade and chart in the 1 minute to 3 minute or 5 minute time frame, trying to find levels, even on the daily. Then you've got your 4 hours, the hourly time frame from a lot of traders. Some people use the 30, not a lot, but some use the 30-minute time frame. But you got the 30, the hourly, the 4 hour. Not many use the daily in large caps, but some do. I feel the 15-minute, and a lot of traders, you can go across the board now that I've done this long enough, which is awesome. That's what a lot of traders are using actually to chart. Like good professional traders, right? They're finding the in-between ground in the 15. Well, I use the 15-day just because it goes back and lets me know, okay, well, what trend are we in? If I have to go back further, I do. But generally speaking, you're going to use levels from what's just been created recently, right? You're not going to go back to look at levels from 3 months ago, a year ago, generally, unless you need to go back to that level because you haven't been there. Again, go back to the small cap series that I did, and that's when you have to go up and then back to the left and try to find something forever ago. I get it then. Makes sense. Well, there isn't that case here. You have charting already built in. So all I'm looking for are reversals, a lot of touches. And again, zooming out, trying to find the touches over the past couple of weeks. And so that's why I said on the way up today, and I called this out in my morning alerts to say watch for this, and then later on the what to trade at the bell, that I really like SPY for a move at the bell today. Like what to trade at the bell. And here, this is so you can, what you also guys are missing out on not having the morning alert. So here we go. Large caps, here we go.
So we're seeing a lot of that again, back to reiterate.
Wrong one.
Favorite plays at the bell, going back to it. Kind of looks like some of these plays want to pop, some want to drop. Tesla, in a way, honestly, like especially the Qs, especially PLTR, have a good chart set up for the squeeze and more continuation. Now, there are plays that will get better movement maybe later on in the day, but those would be my favorite ones right there out of the gate, out of the bell. Watch for squeeze SPY as well. Looks like it wants to pop and go for more.
So, lay down. I'm doing a little lesson, baby girl. So it just had that reek. Why? Well, we had this beautiful, you just kind of zoom in for the day. Uptrend, 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 right? We have this huge U-shape eclipsing the high from this kind of overall, in my opinion, kind of a weird U-shape that's going on there, right? Getting back over the resistance level into yesterday and tying it, getting right at it, failing at it. Okay, I get it. Are we going to get over? Are we going to fail and come back today? No, we run and go for more this morning, holding all that resistance area from the previous week or two. That's bullish state of mind. Then secondly, on top of that, what do we have this morning? This beautiful downtrend. So if we break the downtrend, which we do, and then hold, which that's where I'm starting to give these morning alerts this morning, is right through here. I want to let the movement happen in pre-market. Why? Well, if I'm going to trade the opening bell onward, which I do in large cap plays, I like to trade options, I want to wait till about 30 to 45 minutes before the opening bell, then start to get my charts in, right? So once I see that we broke the downtrend and we're now holding, we're bouncing off the downtrend and holding above it, I know that this play has a huge shot to squeeze at the bell. We squeeze, I know we drop, soak back down, and it ends up being a great bounce play after that. Then goes to new high, but it still kind of fills the holes. Now, again, where to give levels. So just to zoom in a little bit to go down, we'll do that to start off with before we go back out. I know it's like, wow, how do you see these? I just can see real well. I have good eyesight, but I get this a lot. Like, man, I can't really see these. How are you seeing this? I've done this for so long that I can see all these little levels. All I have to do is put my crosshairs in, and I can see where these plays are touching, where I have a lot of touches at. And so the one key thing is always pre-market high, pre-market low. So we always want to start with that, then go down. Find levels in between. And knowing that I see pre-market low is pretty much at what would be the high of day on this Thursday. The high here from the previous Friday is also where the high of day and failed at yesterday. It's pretty much in the same area. So we got to know general rule of thumb with these large cap plays, especially the SPY. Give it 10, 20, 30 cents. Sometimes you can hear me even though I said, my high of day may be a 50-cent range. Sometimes even $1 with some of these tickers. Why? You have to understand that some areas are like this of yesterday. I could have said 676 high of day, right? 676 area. Well, that's where you could have said 675.50 to 676 because there was a 50-cent area that you better have taken profit. Now, again, didn't fall back. It did go for more, right? But it's my point. Where's the resistance going to be at? A lot of the time, it's going to be an area, not like fully defined on the dot. So know that with large caps too. So I know underneath that area, 75.50, the next leg is going to come down. And the next leg down under 75.50 would lead me to this juncture right here. 74.65 into this 74.40.35 area that I talked about. That then runs into also another uptrend channel that could bounce. If I crack that, I'm going down to this bounce reversal at 73.30, and then I'm going down to this reversal at 72.50. Knowing that this is the key area that we just looked at. Also finding some of these areas lining up, with back where we failed at previously before. And then the next area down takes me to here. The bounce and reversal we had at 71.70. Now under 71.70, that's where you finally get a good move in my opinion, because then you come down to the highs and reversals right through this area, right through here, right around 70, right? Now I didn't think we were going to get there because of this whole trend line up. Figured it would hold us up. Nothing there really on the charts at 71, early on this morning when we were there, right? Not a lot, almost there, right about there at 71.50. And that's where you would say 71.50 into 71 would be your bottom area support. Find the little areas like that, find those corridors. I mean, you could even like yesterday, look at this, and I know it's a 15-minute time frame, but we can even just go to like say, if you trade in a 3 or 5, the low of day, I could have said, look, we're confirming all the way up at 65.40, but the low is really all the way down at 64.50. This is what I mean by area. This is what I mean by area. Hey, we could have resistance at 70.50 to 71. If I gave that area. Usually it's a little more defined than that, obviously. I'm just trying to give you examples of when I say area, or that if you don't even have my morning alerts, you should know by, doing this long enough that you need to have areas and not just defined on the dot support, where, like say, if I say, hey, take profit at 680.50. Anytime now you can be taking profit. Anytime now. You go ahead. You don't have to get 86.50 on the dot. We're about, depends on where you got in at. I hope you're not taking 15, 30 cent base hits here in the large caps. That's not what needs to be done. But you can see, boom, we're soaking to 80, 80.50. So anytime now, just kind of be taking profit, scaling out as we're getting as close as we can to that mark. Not knowing we could fail at 80.50, 80.43, 80.39. So then back to the areas. Like let's go to a different chart real quickly. I think right there that hopefully helped you guys on where I'm trying to find areas and where, like today on the SPY, and how to use them a little bit more so. 15-day, 15-minute time frame. I want to try to find one that's a little bit more clean. We'll go to a mid-cap play in SMR. And doing the same thing, and then now say if we got to an area here that we haven't been in the 20s for a while. So that's why I want to get to this. Now we go to the 4-hour time frame. So we get a little information, but not a lot. Takes us back, at least on Thinkorswim, which I love, the 6 months, which is about far enough. After 6 months, you probably want to go to a yearly anyway, or weekly possibly. Depends on how far you want to go back and what you're trying to trade. Are you a day trader? Probably weekly. I mean, if you're a swing trader and you're holding for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, 6 days, a month, It's weekly. If you're more of a day trader, in and out, 4 hours your go-to. And so you find the area that you're at, and then all you do is you come back in here in this area where you know you're at now, and you can see the price action where it's at. Then you just find levels and go, okay, if we crack under, and here's the main thing. What's the lows from recent? The lows from recent here are 17. You can use these levels. But let's just say, 17 is about the lows we've been here recently. So you just go back in time and find the last time you were in the 17s. And like we did, we zoom into this area and go, wow, I find a lot of support and then a resistance fail. I like this 1650 mark. That looks good. I like 1650. There's a lot of support, a lot of touches through there, right? Touch, touch, touch. We're touching, we're getting failing, we're getting touches. 1615, 1635. The next area down, where do you find something? Well, it's just putting the crosshairs in and just trying to find it, right? It's not going to be a fine art, but it's just trying to do your best here. So I can see touches back to here, touch right there, touch right there, getting close to being a touch right there. Then we have the lower shadow right there. So I'd say 1580, 1565 support. Let's go to the next level. I see a nice good flat top. Do I see anything else that runs into it? A little there. Pretty much the 1540, 1535 mark. Boom, 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 right? Next level down, right? And then 15, probably flat, I'd bet. Nah, maybe, yeah, right about 15. Yep, right about 15. So little touches right through here, touch there, some touches through here, nothing crazy, right? So right about 15 is where I'd put the next line at. Under 15, next line down, I'm trying to find it. I know I see this. I mean, then the ones you find, like your eyes just see them right away where there's a lot of touches, just go ahead and put them in. If you just can't help it, like I see one there, put it in. Put those in, but that's what you're doing. You're going back to the 4-hour time frame and trying to find, so if you start popping back on up and we're running from, say, like 25 to 26, you're just using this. Maybe trying to come back here and help it out with here. You move back between 30 and 35. Now you're trying to come back through here and find the last times you were really, really hitting 30 and 35. Once you get back up to the 40s and 45s, you don't have to use all. Just try to find a lot through this area and then see what works. Because sometimes you're going to put lines in that work, and then sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. And so what I want to do is just do that right now. We'll go to a play that I haven't done that on today, and we'll go to PLTR. And I'm going to go 15-day, 15-minute time frame. What you guys can do in the morning, and I'm just going to put lines in on charts. We're kind of in the middle of the chart here, and I'm just going to put lines in on where I feel they should be at, just according to the chart here. Extend to the left so I can see where we're getting there. I'll put them in from the... Now I have to go back here. Put one in right there. Okay. I'll just leave those in and see how those work out. Do I want any more in from here? No. All right, let's see how those work out. Well, and there's not a lot in action. Let's go to the 3-minute, though, see if we see any. Okay, well, yeah, there we. Wow. Okay, so there you go. Bounce play, right? Didn't get one here. All right, so I didn't get one there at 67.25. I want to go back in time now. 67.25, 67.25, 67.25, 67.25. Right off that high day, 67.25, 67.25, and then you kind of zoom in. I don't see shit at 67.25. Could be a fib line. It could be some. I don't know, maybe a moving average of some sort that I'm not using that was hit today there. Regardless, the 3-minute time frame, this is pretty nice and pretty cool. Seeing this, bounce. Didn't get low of day, so 64.25, 64.20, 64.25, 64.20. 64.25, 64.20, 64.25. Yeah. Oh, that's where I almost thought about putting one in when I zoomed in. Was right here at this area right there. And look at that. When I put it in where it hits at. Boom, shakalaka, bam to bam. So that's it. This would be the lines that you'd trade. And then if you want to put more in on the downside, then I'd put... Because, look, I did Tesla the other day. Look, Tesla's a kind of a wonkier mover. I think I did Tesla and a couple others. And then, look at Tesla. So when did I put this line in? I did this last week on the 17th. So I did this almost 10 days ago. I put these lines in. Put these in on the 17th. Look at this line almost 10 days later. This is how you put lines in. This is it. I mean, this is it. I mean, look at low of day almost hit yesterday. Let's just go back to yesterday and see how the 3-minute time frame worked. Well, not great. There are some, I mean, that's the thing. Sometimes these levels aren't. Well, that line worked out perfectly today on the 3-minute time frame. Holy moly. I mean, and then there, like I said, there will be lines that you need to delete. Or, you know what? I see a line that's really been working out right here. This is really awesome and sexy. Maybe, and it's not perfect, but let's just say there was like, boom, touch, 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 and there was a lot of touches right there at this line. Back to, let's just go back. We'll just extend this to the left and see what we get. Let's see what we get here. Not bad, right? Kind of close. We're close there. Touches, almost touch. So I'm going to get rid of it. But if it was like that and there's just a lot of touches on it, like, all right, I'm going to add that line. But this is how you chart. Any questions from anyone that's listening right now? I don't care if you're on the Discord, where you're at on YouTube. Any questions you guys have on how to chart on the 15-day, 15-minute time frame. You can see just coming over here, I put lines in on the whatever day that was, the 17th. So right here, I put lines in on this day. And then look how those lines worked out pretty nicely, especially if you go to the 3-minute time frame. Because 3 to 5 is how and where you want to be trading at today. Or day trading is my point. That's it. This is what you're doing every single day. Go to the 15-day, 15-minute time frame. Put your support and resistance lines in. Let's just do this even like right here, because this one's been moving here recently. That's not really that pretty. It's kind of a little down and then back on up. Large caps will do this though. I'm just trying to find another ticker so you can just see how Nvidia has been really ugly and wonky. Google maybe, because it's been up and moving. So over the last week, I can put lines in here and say, hey, let's try to put lines in from a certain day onward, and let's see how well those work. So let's go back further days. Let's do this. Let's just do one more here. Any questions you guys have? Anything? Does this make sense on what to do? This is in pre-market. This is if you come in at the opening bell. If you want to find quick levels to use the rest of the day, this is where and how you're going to find it, right? So let's just say, from the earnings report onward, and let's just say this day in you haven't traded Google. We'll just try to see how this works out. And I'm going to go chart Google, and it's this day in pre-market. And I'm going to put, tell you where I'd put lines in for the morning alerts. So I see flat top right here. And that flat top then runs back and extend to the left right through here, right? And so I can see resistance at that area. Next is going to be here. Next is going to be off of here, which then runs back into that area. Next is going to be, let's go down. We'll go one more level up. We'll go right there, extend to the left. This resistance support area. And then we're going to have one more of those, like the reversal up top right there. I'm going to just stick with that for now. On the way down, on the way down, on the way down, on the way down. So on the way down here. Off that level, off the bottom of this level, but I don't see a lot there when I extend that in. Yeah, I do. I see a little bit more right back in here. Not a lot. See how well these work out. Oh my gosh. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna just stick with these lines, and I feel like I'm just this is what I should be doing. Didn't eat anything either. I pushed through. It was funny earlier. I was like, just push through, bub. You got it, bud. All right. So off of that and off of this little corridor, which then runs back to, if you extend this to the left, off of this area. Now we're moving up off of this resistance support area, right? Support again then here. This then comes from those lows. This extend to the left comes off of that resistance area, then bounce right there, low of day, right?